Hello friends, Ace Botane next episode. In this episode, we'll be discussing ecosystem, first part. Meanwhile, 3 questions in shorts I am putting daily for NEET 26. One will be around 12:30 to 1:15 the lunch time. Other two will be after 8:45 or 8:30 in the night. And one will be after 9:30. Okay, we can proceed. So ecosystem 1. What all things we'll be discussing in this episode? As usual, there will be an introduction. Then we'll be entering to the topic, structure and functions, productivity, decomposition, and as usual, 5 theory question, 5 NEET model question with the key. So for convenience, I will share the screen, so you'll be getting the note simultaneously. I think screen came, so we can proceed. Ecosystem 1, as in the beginning, a small introduction. See, what is meant by an ecosystem? So an ecosystem can be seen as a functional unit of nature where living organism interacts among themselves and also with the surrounding physical environment. That is a classical definition for ecosystem. NCERT page number 205, it is given. Theory question, one more. Now the term ecosystem is first used by A.G. Tansley. Photograph I given there, so it will be convenient for you. And father of ecosystem ecology. Scientist is E.P. Odum, Eugene P. Odum. And one famous book written by this E.P. Odum, the title of the book is Fundamentals of Ecology, an authority of ecology. In the case of reference with the books, Fundamentals of Ecology by E.P. Odum. I think first page is clear, so we can proceed to second page. It's a theoretical chapter, but important for theory and entrance exam. Now, different types of ecosystem. For this, different criteria are there. And based on it, different types are available. So basically, we'll be discussing 2 types. One is on the basis of area, where it is located. Second is how humans will be involved, or nature will be involved. So on the basis of area, it can be divided into 2. One is terrestrial area, other is aquatic area. So make it more easy, terrestrial area, example is forest, grassland, desert. While aquatic, watery medium, pond, river, sea, estuaries. Now coming to human involvement and natural involvement, it can be divided into 2, natural and anthropogenic. Anthropogenic means connected with the humans. Study of humans, anthropology. Natural, it is forest and ocean, while anthropogenic, man-made, aquariums and gardens. And remember, largest man-made ecosystem is agriculture or agro-ecosystem, previous question. Now, what is meant by the term global ecosystem, totality? So many ecologists regard the entire biosphere as a global ecosystem, entire thing, just like kingdom. As a composite of all local ecosystem on Earth. Since it is too big, for convenience, it is divided into 2 basic categories, namely aquatic and terrestrial, that is written in page number 205 of NCERT. Now, comparing with the natural ecosystem, anthropogenic, man-made ecosystem has got some speciality or exception. That's the previous question. So, human-made ecosystem have some features like no self-regulatory control. Diversity is very less. Food chain is simple. Productivity will be high because it is man-made. Purpose is high productivity. Cycling of nutrients will be little. I think idea clear is a famous question. Now we can proceed to next page. So when we come to ecosystem structure and functions, ecologically we can find 2 basic components. One is abiotic, other is biotic. And there is a natural tendency for the ecosystem to persist. As an inborn ability, right, to persist. Now, ecosystem structure, we are expanding. Interaction of biotic and abiotic components results in a physical structure that is characteristic for each type of ecosystem. Identification, enumeration of plant and animal species of an ecosystem gives the species composition. Now, a famous term, vertical distribution of different species occupying different levels is called stratification, important for exam purpose. Stratification. Sexual reproduction, flowering plant, there is a term stratification. Presently not there, but there is a term stratification. That is different. This one is different. This is ecological stratification. Typical example for ecological stratification, different layers. In a forest, we can find tall trees, shrubs, herbs, and grasses. So type of arrangement naturally. Now comes next aspect, ecosystem function. Normally, ecosystem has a tendency to persist, and it is satisfied by various functions. And components of ecosystem functions include four basic functions that include productivity, decomposition, energy flow, and nutrient cycling. In this episode, we'll be discussing productivity and decomposition. So ecosystem, the two important structural features, as another important question, NCERT oriented. One is called species composition, other is stratification. And ecosystem, four important functional aspects. Structural features, species composition, stratification, four important functional aspects, productivity, decomposition, energy flow, and nutrient cycling. Each word we should know because they're all our question. Ecosystem ecology chapter is important for theory and rules. Theoretical chapter only, but still. Now comes in the first item we have to proceed is under four important functional aspect, productivity. A constant input of solar energy is the basic requirement for any ecosystem to function and sustain. NCERT page number 206, a source of energy. Here it is solar energy. In this world, the most productive ecosystems, the previous question, most productive coral reefs, tropical rainforest, sugarcane fields. Now reverse. Least productive ecosystem, deserts, deep sea. And why in deep sea? Two basic reasons. One, light will not reach there. Second, nitrogen will be scarce. I think idea clear. Now we can proceed to certain terms connected with the production and productivity. Primary production and productivity. Primary production is defined as the amount of biomass or organic matter produced per unit area over a time period by plants during photosynthesis. So primary production is defined as the amount of biomass or organic matter produced per unit area over a time. Time should be specified over a time period by plants during photosynthesis. And for primary production expressed in weight, suppose if it is in weight, gm minus 2. Suppose if it is in energy, kilocalories m raised to minus 2. Now comes among primary production rate of biomass production is called productivity. Again, expressions gm minus 2, year minus 1 is written there, or kilocalories m raised to minus 2, year raised to minus 1. To compare the productivity of different ecosystems, it can be divided into gross primary productivity, GPP, and net primary productivity, NPP. Again, NCERT page number 206 and 207. And there is a famous formula. It is a usual question for theory and runs. GPP, gross primary productivity, minus respiratory loss. That is for R, minus. So GPP minus R gives net primary productivity, NPP, famous equation. And NPP, remember, this is the only available biomass for the consumption to heterotrophs. I think up to that it is clear. Now we can expand gross primary productivity, GPP. GPP of an ecosystem is the rate of production of organic matter during the photosynthesis. A considerable amount of GPP is utilized by the plants in respiration. That is why NPP equals GPP minus R. Now comes next productivity, net primary productivity, which is otherwise called NPP. Net of an ecosystem means, or NPP, that we can say, net primary productivity or NPP of an ecosystem means GPP minus respiratory losses. And NPP, net primary productivity, is only able to pass into next levels. So GPP minus R gives net primary productivity. Now comes secondary productivity. So primary means plants, green plants. Secondary means next level. Secondary productivity means it is the rate of formation of new organic matter by consumers where they are not able to produce their own food. Secondary productivity. I think idea clear. Now we can proceed to productivity of biosphere and how it varies with the land and ocean. Data says annual net primary productivity of the whole biosphere is approximately, previous question, 170 billion tons. That is dry weight of organic matter, 170. Remember, despite occupying about 70% of the surface, that is ocean, the productivity of ocean are only 55 billion tons, 55 billion tons. And remaining terrestrial ecosystem is almost 115 billion tons. So you can compare 70% ocean, productivity less. Terrestrial area, land area less, but productivity is high. So automatically a question will come in our mind, why it is so? Because 70% surface is water, still productivity is low. So famous question given in NCERT, page number 207, theory question, two basic reasons why there is low productivity in ocean. One, light will decrease with the depth. Two, nitrogen is a limiting factor in ocean. And the diagram, photograph, etc. given, all data given, ocean occupies 70% of surfaces. Then our surface productivity is only 55 billion tons, while terrestrial ecosystem, it is 115 billion ton, even though occupied area is less comparing with the ocean. Now, after productivity, we have to proceed with the decomposition. So we may be familiar with the earthworm and being referred to as farmer's friend. Remember, like productivity, what is importance of productivity? Almost same manner, almost equal to it, decomposition is also required. Now, what is decomposition? That is, decomposers, those who do the decomposition, decomposers break down complex organic matter into inorganic substances like carbon dioxide, water, and nutrients. And this is decomposition, 1 mark theory question for school exams. Now, places of decomposition, because aquatic land difference is there. Major sites are in terrestrial area, upper part or layers of the soil, because soil is on the upper surface. While aquatic medium, it is bottom of water bodies. Famous question. Now, what is detritus? So it's question by question I put, this will be convenient for you. Detritus is the base or base material, raw material for decomposition. It is formed by dead remains of leaves, bark, flower, and dead remains of animals, including fecal matter. There are different steps for decomposition, which include different steps. Now we can proceed to steps in decomposition. Basically, 3 main steps: fragmentation, leaching, catabolism. Catabolism again subdivided into humidification and mineralization. So FLCHM, like a mnemonics, FLCHM. Now, what is FLCHM or fragmentation onwards? We can start. It is done by small invertebrates like earthworm and termites, exam point of view important, and they are often called detrivores. These organisms will be consume it and will be coming out from their body in a highly pulverized form through their fecal matter. By this process, the detritus is changed into very small particles with a large surface area so that enzymes can work efficiently. So that is fragmentation, first step. Now, second step, leaching. Leaching means water-soluble inorganic nutrients go down into the soil horizon. That event is called percolation. Percolation is supposed to be a good quality for a good soil. Percolation will be precipitated like unavailable soil. So water-soluble inorganic nutrients go down into the soil horizon by percolation and will be temporarily arrested. Now comes catabolism, breakdown again. It is mainly done by saprotrophic bacteria, organisms important, saprotrophic bacteria and fungi. Famous question. This organism will secrete enzyme over the already fragmented detritus, first step. So already fragmented, now catabolic action. By the effect of this enzymes that is connected with the saprotrophic bacterium fungus. So by the effects of these enzymes, simple compounds will be formed from the complex organic compounds. Inorganic substances also release. And they work like natural scavenger. Catabolism. Saprotrophic, bacteria and fungi already fragmented, still catabolic procedure. I think idea clear. Now we can proceed to next one. The catabolic actions and their rates are different according to condition. Conditions play a crucial role. Due to these different types of actions, 2 types of events will take place, result in. One is humus. Phenomenon is called humidification. Second is inorganic nutrients formation. That is called mineralization. Now this we have to explain. So first, what is humidification? Formation of humus is called humidification. So what is humus? Humus is formed by decomposition of detritus. Next is important, features of humus, NCERT, theory, entrance, repeated question. Humus is normally dark in color. It has got no shape. If shape is not there, the term is amorphous. Undergoes decomposition in an extremely slow manner. It is colloidal in nature, reservoir of nutrients. It is chemically slightly acidic also. It is rich in chemicals like cellulose, lignin, tannins, and resins. I think idea clear. Now we can proceed to next step, mineralization. Means humus or organic matter is further degraded by some microbes. So microbes play a crucial role. Next step we can find it. So microbes and release inorganic nutrients like CO2, H2O, minerals, etc. by the process mineralization in connection with the decomposition. Some simple soluble organic substances also form. some saprotrophic microbes involved. Out of these 3 steps and 5 events, fragmentation, leaching, and catabolism in decomposition can take place simultaneously on detritus. While humification, humus formation, and releasing mineralization will take place in soil during decomposition. So there is a gradation. Factors connected with the decomposition. Like productivity, decomposition is also an important aspect. Still, many factors can regulate decomposition procedures. Many factors. One is temperature, as in the case of like enzymes, temperature. A suitable range of temperature is needed for efficient decomposition. Normally, a temperature which is greater than 25 degrees centigrade helps in decomposition. Along with it, if soil moisture, aeration, etc. available, then efficiency will be more. Time requirement is normally for decomposition, complete decomposition is around 3 to 4 months. So that much time it will take place. Now, when we say temperature, if temperature is below 10 degrees centigrade, then decomposition rate will be very slow, even if other factors are optimum. So temperature plays a crucial role. Now, chemical nature. Chemically, if chitin, lignin, tannin, phenolic derivatives, cellulose are present, it's difficult to digest. In the detritus, decomposition will be slow. Suppose if chemicals like proteins, nucleic acid, that is nitrogenous compounds and water-soluble reserve chemicals like carbohydrate, decomposition will be more quick. So chemical nature also play a role in decomposition. Now comes moisture, another item. An optimum value is usually preferred. Here also an optimum moisture favors efficient decomposition. Areas of prolonged dryness, like hot deserts, will slow down the decomposition. At the same time, if moisture is extreme, that's also not good. Efficiency decreases. So in general, the most important climatic factors connected with the decomposition is or are is a famous question. 2 items. One is temperature and one is moisture. Now aeration. And optimum aeration favors decomposition. All optimum values are best. In general, decomposition is favored by warm and moist environment. Suppose if it is low temperature and anaerobiosis condition, that will even almost inhibit decomposition. As a result, what happens? This will not be digested. As a result, organic material will build up. Now comes nutrient immobilization. Immobilization means that is comparatively not able to move, arrested that way. Means at least for time being, nutrients will be incorporated in living microbes. Later only it will be released. So one purpose is there, that is it can protect the nutrients from washed out, leading to loss from ecosystem. Now a famous NCERT diagram that is showing diagram representation of decomposition cycle in a terrestrial ecosystem. NCERT only. Clearly label everything, organisms names given, and mineralize everything they represent in simple flowchart. Good diagram, clear. Now after this, as usual, 5 theory question, 5 NEET model question with the key. So that is regarding ecosystem first one. So what all things we discussed, we can just brief it and wind up. So when we started with ecosystem 1, that is first part of ecosystem. Organism, the chapter is over now, ecosystem, introduction, what all things we'll be learning in ecosystem, what is ecosystem, who is Epiotum, who is Arthur G. Tansley. Then next we discussed about different types of ecosystem on the base of area, human involvement with example, and which is the largest man-made ecosystem, agroecosystem. Now what is global ecosystem? That is totality divided into aquatic and terrestrial. Then ecosystem structure and function. Structure and function. 2 basic components, abiotic and biotic. Then ecosystem structure. When we discuss with ecosystem structure, important term is vertical distribution of different species occupying different levels is called stratification. Then ecosystem function. Naturally, ecosystem has a tendency to persist and is satisfied by various functions, the components of ecosystem. Functions include productivity, decomposition, energy flow, and nutrient cycling. In this episode, we'll be discussing 2 items, productivity and ecosystem. So the first is productivity. Ultimate source of energy is sun. Then most productive, least productive ecosystem. Then what is primary production, primary productivity? What is a unit? Then what is gross primary productivity and net primary productivity? What is the role played by respiration? Then what is the equation for it? Famous question. Then secondary productivity, productivity from consumer level. Then data productivity of biosphere, 170 billion tons dry weight. Ocean occupy 70% of surface. Productivity is 55 billion tons, while terrestrial ecosystem 115 billion tons. And why it is so? One is when we go to the depth in ocean, light will be less. Second is nitrogen is limiting factor. Then we entered into after productivity decomposition. What is meant by decomposition? What is importance of earthworm? And places of decomposition on aquatic medium, on terrestrial medium where it takes place, and which substance undergo decomposition, that is called detritus. That is called detritus. Then steps in decomposition, FLCHM, fragmentation, leaching, catabolism. Then humidification, mineralization, FLCHM, fragmentation, what happens, and which all organism, earthworm and termites, detrivores. Then leaching, that is water soluble inorganic nutrients go down into the soil. Horizon percolation may not be immediately available. It will be in earth, deep earth. Now comes catabolism, mainly done by saprotrophic bacteria and fungus. Here also what happens, and they may work as nature's scavenger. Then catabolic actions and the rates are different according to the condition. Basically, two types. Productive action will be two types. One is humus, humidification. Second is inorganic nutrients, mineralization. What is meant by humidification? What is humus? And what are the features of humus important? Then comes mineralization. Minerals will be released. Mineralization. Then all these are connected to microbes, including last step, saprotrophic microbes. Then we can find fragmentation, leaching, catabolism, and decomposition take place simultaneously on detritus. Humidification, mineralization will take place in soil during decomposition. Factors connected with the decomposition, starting with the temperature, what is importance, which temperature is preferred, then chemical substances or chemical nature, how the two types differs. Then comes moisture, also play a role. Most important climatic factor connected with the decomposition is or are temperature and moisture. Previous question. Then aeration, what is the need for aeration? Normally, warm and moist environment favors decomposition. Then nutrient immobilization, that is temporarily arrested nature of minerals. As a storehouse, it will be there. Later, it may come. Then NCERT diagram showing decomposition, clearly labeled diagram. Then, as usual, 5 theory question, 5 NEET model question with the key. Meanwhile, short question I am daily putting. Now, genetics proceeding. One already I told you, lunch break time, that is around 12:30 to 1:30 gap. Then night, preferably after 8:30 to 10:30, 2 questions. So past through it. So subscribe ACE Botany, you'll be getting these notes. Then shorts question, then individually will be expanding after this chapter. First year, one more chapter remaining, bioclassification. Then we'll be taking each part, 5 minutes, 10 minutes discussion, directed live discussions will be there. So time being, we can wind up. If you like this episode, subscribe or like it, share it, comment on it. We can meet later. Take care. Bye. Thank you.